I've taught 800 people. I'll never do it again. Shit.
And so this weekend, I think we've got 90 of us or 100 of us in the room. 2 years ago, I took a very similar 2-day experience with you, and it just shattered my whole concept of movement. And I remember I got back to the gym on the Monday, and I looked around, and it just looked like a bunch of aliens doing alien things. And I was like, well, why am I here? Why are you doing that? And so I ended up, getting rid of my personal trainer and started doing these other things. But, for people that don't know, why does that happen with you? Spending a couple days with you, why do they just all of a sudden look at things differently?
It's not me at all. It's the paradigm shift. It's the climbing of the ladder of memes, and it's the movement from simplicity to ultimate complexity that happens everywhere across the board with everything. This universe started so simple, and look where we are and where are we going. It goes to this hyper complexity. So once you climb that ladder, it's extremely difficult to go back. And that's the heart of it. It has nothing to do with me. I'm just a container of it. I present it, I do it. Sometimes I do it in a good way, sometimes I do it in a shitty way. My sense of humor maybe touches some of you, others completely cannot relate to it. I'm just a filter. But the paradigm shift, the climbing in the ladder, that is very hard to go back. And it takes a toll when you do go back, because we all do go back certain times. We go back to our pleasures or simple things, but it takes a toll. Once you have it in your mind that there is another stage in complexity, there is a toll. You have to pay a price if you go back, which a lot of people do, and they don't even realize that they do. They pass by ideas, they're inspired by it. Then when it comes the time to actualize it, they discover difficulties. So they retrace back, they go back to some form of a simpler practice. But in the back of their mind, they're not doing the real thing. And it keeps poking. It can poke for 70 years before it pops. It can pop in the last moment, in the last 5 minutes of your life.
When you realized that you needed to get back to something else.
Yeah.
You made it too complex.
No, you've made it too simple.
Okay.
You went back to simplicity because it's comforting. It's known. You jumped into practicing yourself in very complex ways, but you can also lose your way there. So what do you do when you lose your way? Most people just go back to simple things that they know. Okay, I know I can pump those weights, or I know I can do this action or that action. It's familiar, and I know what I'm doing, so I'm going back to it. But in your mind, it's not the real deal. And there is some problem about it, the fact that you keep going with it. And we all have it not only with a movement practice, with everything, with relationships, with a lot of things.
I remember I complained to you in that episode 3 years ago that I wasn't happy with my movement practice. And then a year later, I complained again. So it was on the back of my mind, but I hadn't done anything about it.
If you're satisfied about your practice, you're a shitty practitioner. I'm not satisfied with my practice. I don't have a single moment where I reached a place where I'm content. If you're content, you're a low-level practitioner. Perhaps that's not your major focus or orientation. Who's a happy artist? Who's a happy craftsman? It's like those are people who can make do. But you're not satisfied because you want the next thing, and you need to keep on pushing that rock up the slope. The Sisyphus, the Camus analogy, Albert Camus. Push the rock up the slope, and then it goes rolling back down. And there is never a moment you're on top, starts to roll back down. And that's the game. Until the last moment on this planet, just keep pushing back the rock. So start to understand why is it that we need that process. It's enough to fill our hearts, what we said there.
Yeah, X marks the spot and go there and try to enjoy it. You told me that having fun when it's not fun, the art of having fun when it's not fun. Yeah, we say that a lot in the studio now when things get tough. That and Heradat Kodesh. Did I say that right?
Not bad.
Yeah? How do you say the fear of Ido?
Herdat Ido.
Heradat Ido. Yeah, we've had a little of that too.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.